Kneel and beg for forgiveness, Amara. The words cut through the golden glow of a Charleston wedding, sharp as a blade, dripping with venom. In a city where ancient oaks whisper tales of joy and pain, one woman's defiance is about to unravel, a day meant for celebration. Will courage triumph over cruelty? Or will pride shatter a dream woven in silk? This is a story that'll grip your heart and keep you guessing. Hit that subscribe button, share where you're watching from, and tell me, what would you do in her place? Stay with us, because this tale's just beginning. In the heart of Charleston, South Carolina, where jasmine weaves through the air and old mansions stand like sentinels, Amara Brooks walks a path of quiet strength. At 35, her hands bear the calluses of years spent serving the Harper family, her spirit tempered by their disdain. The Harper estate buzzes with wedding preparations, a spectacle of wealth and power. But beneath the polished chandeliers and soft jazz drifting from the garden, a storm brews. Amara, a woman who once dreamed of singing to the stars, carries a fire no one can see. Yet. Amara Brooks steps onto the gravel path of the Harper estate, her shoes crunching softly under Charleston's early sun. At 35, her hands are rough from years of scrubbing floors and polishing silver, her heart heavy with dreams left behind. Born in a cramped Charleston neighborhood where hope leaned hard against hardship, Amara once sang gospel under starlit skies, her voice a beacon of promise. But life demanded sacrifice. She sent every spare dollar to her younger brother, Noah, now an engineer in Raleigh, his success her quiet triumph. The Harper mansion looms ahead, its white columns gleaming, a fortress of wealth where Amara's been a shadow for 15 years. The air carries jasmine and the faint hum of jazz from the wedding preparations, but to Amara, it's laced with obligation. Eleanor Harper, the matriarch, rules with a gaze that cuts like glass, her daughter Sophia echoing her cold command. Amara's apron is her shield, her dignity her sword. She moves with grace, carrying a tray of cornbread, its buttery scent a fleeting comfort. Yet beneath her calm, a fire simmers, kindled by a mother's hymn, "O Freedom." That fire waits, unseen, for its moment. The kitchen of the Harper estate hums with the warmth of a glowing oven, the scent of cornbread curling through the air like a fleeting embrace. Amara Brooks moves with practiced ease, her hands steady as she slides another tray into the heat. Her crisp white apron catches the soft light, a barrier against the world beyond these walls. At 35, she's mastered the art of silence, swallowing the weight of years spent serving those who see her as less. But today, the air feels heavier, charged with the pulse of a wedding that demands perfection. Eleanor Harper sweeps into the room, her silver hair pulled tight, her blue eyes sharp as a hawk's. Her voice slices through the quiet. "Amara, these trays should have been ready an hour ago. Do you want to ruin Sophia's day?" The words drip with disdain, as if Amara's presence stains the Harper's pristine domain. Amara's jaw tightens, but her voice stays even. "They're on schedule, ma'am." Eleanor's gaze narrows, hunting for weakness, before she turns away, her heels clicking like a warning. Moments later, Sophia, the bride-to-be, glides in, her silk robe trailing like a royal decree. At 28, she mirrors her mother's angular beauty, her eyes restless with entitlement. "Amara, these flowers are wrong," she snaps, pointing to a bouquet of lilies. "I said ivory, not cream. Fix it." Amara crosses the room, her steps measured, and tilts the bouquet to catch the light, revealing their snowy petals. "They're ivory, Miss Sophia, as you asked." Sophia's lips purse, her voice cold. They look cream to me. Do it again, and don't waste my time. The insult stings, but Amara nods, her face a mask of calm. As she turns, Sophia adds, "Mother's already upset about your slowness today." The lie cuts deep. Amara's been up since dawn, her hands never idle. She escapes to the hallway, leaning against the cool plaster, her breath steadying. The jazz from the garden drifts in, its notes mocking the tension coiling within her. She thinks of Noah, her brother, who urged her to leave this place, to chase her old dream of singing. But dreams don't pay bills, and stability is her anchor. The gospel hymn her mother sang rises in her mind, "O freedom over me." It's a whisper of strength, a reminder of who she is. Amara straightens, her resolve hardening. She'll face the Harper's scorn, as she always has, but something feels different today. A spark, waiting to ignite. Amara Brooks stands in the Harper Estate's grand dining hall, where chandeliers cast a golden glow over polished wood and lace. Her hands cradle a crystal vase, its facets catching the light as she sets it on a table draped in ivory. The air hums with the faint strains of jazz from the garden, where workers raise white tents for Sophia's wedding. Amara's movements are precise, honed by years of perfecting the Harper's world, but her chest tightens with the weight of their watchful eyes. She knows Eleanor Harper will sweep through soon, her gaze hunting for flaws to pin on her. The thought twists her stomach, but she smooths her apron, her mother's gospel humming softly in her soul. Oh, freedom. Then, a gust from an open window tugs at the vase, and time slows. The crystal slips from her grasp, tumbling to the floor with a sound like shattering stars. The room freezes. Amara's breath catches as she stares at the scattered shards, her heart a drumbeat of dread. Footsteps echo, sharp and deliberate. Eleanor Harper appears in the doorway, her silver hair glinting, her lips a thin line of fury. "What have you done, Amara?" she hisses, her voice a lash that stings the air. Sophia strides in behind her, her silk robe swishing, her eyes blazing with disdain. "You've ruined my day," she snaps, her words sharp as the broken glass. Amara kneels to gather the shards, her fingers trembling but her voice steady. "It was the wind, ma'am. I'll replace it now." She rises, meeting Eleanor's gaze, refusing to shrink. But Eleanor steps closer, her jasmine perfume suffocating. "Replace it," she mocks. "This is my daughter's wedding, and you've tossed carelessness like a child." "You'll apologize properly." The word properly hangs heavy, laced with intent. Sophia crosses her arms, her voice cold as ice. "Kneel, Amara. Beg forgiveness for your mistake. Show you know your place." The demand lands like a slap, echoing the slights Amara's endured for 15 years. Her mind flashes to her mother, to the hymn that carried her through countless nights. "And before I'd be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave." Her fingers tighten around a shard, a silent vow. She won't kneel. Not for this, not for them. The room holds its breath, the jazz outside faltering, as Amara stands tall, her silence louder than any shout. She knows her next words could change everything, but the fire in her chest burns brighter than fear. Amara Brooks stands rooted in the Harper Estate's dining hall, the broken vase's shards glinting like accusations at her feet. The chandelier's light casts jagged shadows, and the air grows thick with Eleanor Harper's venomous command. "Kneel and beg forgiveness, Amara." Sophia, the bride, stands beside her mother, her silk robe shimmering like a cruel mirage, her eyes daring Amara to defy. The words sting, heavy with the weight of years spent swallowing slights, of being seen as less because of her skin. Amara's heart pounds, a drumbeat of rage and resolve, but her face remains calm, a shield forged from endurance. She thinks of her mother's gospel hymn, its notes rising like a lifeline. And before I'd be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave. Her fingers loosen around the shard in her hand, her voice low but unyielding. I'm sorry for the vase, ma'am. I'll fix it right now, standing here. I don't need to kneel to mean it. The words cut through the silence, a declaration that shakes the room's polished air. Eleanor's face flushes crimson, her voice a hiss. You dare defy me? In my house on my daughter's wedding day? She steps closer, her jasmine perfume choking. Kneel, or you're out forever. Sophia's lips curl, her tone venomous. You're ruining everything, Amara. Kneel, or you'll never work in Charleston again. The bridesmaids, silent until now, shift uneasily, their glances darting, but none speak. Amara's mind races, to her brother Noah, safe in Raleigh, to the paycheck she needs, to the years she's bent to survive. But this demand isn't about a vase. It's about breaking her, stripping her dignity. Her mother's hymn sings louder, a fire in her veins. I'm a housekeeper, Amara says, her voice rising clear as a bell. Not a slave. I won't kneel for something so small, or for who I am. The room seems to shrink, the chandelier's light dimming under the weight of her words. Eleanor's laugh is brittle, shattering the stillness. You're fired, she screams, her voice cracking. Get out of my house! Sophia lunges forward, her gown rustling. Go, Amara! You've destroyed my day. But Amara sees a flicker of doubt in Sophia's eyes, a crack in her armor. She turns, her steps deliberate, her spine iron. As she reaches the door, a young server, Tyson, watches from the hallway, his eyes wide with silent support. The jazz outside sours, a trumpet note faltering. Amara steps into the cool corridor, her hands trembling, but her heart alight. She's lost her job, but she's kept her soul, and something tells her this moment will spark more than she can yet see. Amara Brooks steps into the service corridor of the Harper estate, the echo of Eleanor's scream, "You're fired!" still ringing in her ears. The cool plaster walls offer a fleeting balm, but her heart races, a mix of fear and defiance pulsing through her. The jazz from the garden falters, its notes swallowed by the growing tension. She's lost her job, her lifeline, but the gospel hymn her mother sang burns bright, "O freedom over me." Before she can catch her breath, Tyson, the young server who saw her stand, bursts through the kitchen door, his eyes blazing. "Miss Amara, you ain't alone," he says, his voice fierce but low. He pulls her toward the kitchen, where the air is thick with the scent of cooling cornbread and fried chicken. A dozen staff, cooks, servers, cleaners, mostly black, their faces etched with years of quiet endurance, stand in a tight circle. Ruth, a veteran cook with gray braids and scarred hands, steps forward, her apron crumpled in her fist. "Tyson told us," she says, her voice a gravelly anchor. "They wanted you to kneel for a broken vase after you apologized. That ain't right." The others nod, their eyes flashing with shared anger. Lena, a young maid, speaks up, her voice trembling but resolute. "I heard Mrs. Harper talking about hiding money to keep this place looking grand. They treat us like dirt, but they're no better." Her words spark murmurs. Some nod, others glance warily, as if her revelation carries a hidden motive. Amara's throat tightens, her hands clenching. She hadn't meant to ignite this, hadn't asked for their risk. "Y'all don't need to lose your jobs for me," she says softly, her voice steady despite the tremor in her chest. Ruth shakes her head, eyes fierce. "This ain't just about you, Amara. It's about all of us." We're done bowing. The decision comes like a flame catching dry grass. "We stop," Ruth declares, tossing her apron onto the counter. No food, no service, no wedding. Tyson grins, defiance sparking. Let's see their fancy guests enjoy empty tables. The kitchen empties swiftly. Cooks abandon pots, servers drop trays, cleaners leave mops behind. Amara follows them to the lawn, where white tents sag like hollow promises. Eleanor storms from the mansion, her heels sinking into the grass, her voice shrill. "Get back to work, all of you!" But the staff stand firm, their silence louder than her rage. Tyson steps forward, his voice calm. "We ain't working for folks who treat Miss Amara like that, ma'am." Amara feels a surge of pride, tinged with fear. The Harper's wrath will fall hard, but this unity is a power she's never felt. The wedding, once a spectacle, teeters on collapse, and Amara knows her spark has lit a fire that won't be easily doused. The Harper estate's lawn lies in disarray, white tents drooping as the jazz band's final notes fade into silence. Amara Brooks stands at the edge, her heart a mix of pride and apprehension, watching the staff's rebellion ripple through the Harper's polished world. Inside the mansion, James Carter, the groom, paces the marble foyer, his polished shoes clicking sharply. A New York lawyer with a steady mind, he's sensed the Harper's coldness before, but never its depth. His brow furrows as whispers of the chaos reach him. He corners Tyson, the young server, near a deserted buffet, his voice low but urgent. "Why is everything stopped?" Tyson's eyes are steady. "Miss Amara, sir. Mrs. Harper and Miss Sophia told her to kneel for a broken vase after she apologized." "We ain't working for folks who do that." James's jaw tightens, his hands curling into fists. He's heard Eleanor's sharp tongue, seen Sophia's icy glances, but this crosses a line he can't ignore. He finds Sophia in the bridal suite, her lace gown pooling around her like spilled moonlight. She forces a smile. "James, it's just a misunderstanding. The staff are being difficult." But James's eyes are steel. "A misunderstanding? You told Amara to kneel for a vase after she apologized. Do you hear how that sounds, Sophia?" His voice rises, a quiet storm. "You humiliated her because she's black, because you think you can. That's not respect, it's cruelty." Sophia's smile falters, her voice defensive. "She disrespected me, James. It's my wedding day and she made a mistake. Mother just wanted her to show respect." James steps closer, his anger restrained but fierce. "Respect? You mean submission? You treated her like property, Sophia. I thought I knew you. But this is who your family is." He gestures toward the window, where guests murmur in confusion, some heading for their cars. "Your perfect day's falling apart because you couldn't treat one woman with dignity." Sophia's face crumples, tears streaking her makeup. "James, please," she pleads, reaching for him. "We can fix this." "Tell them to come back." But James pulls away, his voice final. "I can't marry into this, Sophia. Not a family that builds its world on hate." He turns, his steps heavy, leaving her alone with the ribbon slipping from her fingers. Sophia stares at the mirror, her reflection fractured, her mother's cruelty echoing in her mind. Outside, Eleanor's shouts grow desperate, but the staff remain unmoved, their defiance a wall she can't breach. Amara, watching from the sidelines, feels the weight of her choice settle. The gospel hymn hums in her soul, "Oh, freedom." She didn't plan this collapse, but she feels no guilt. The Harper's world, built on prejudice, is unraveling, and Amara's spark has lit a fire that will burn far beyond this day. The Charleston dusk settles over the Harper estate, its once vibrant lawn now a shadow of abandoned tents and empty tables. Amara Brooks, sits in her small apartment, the glow of a single lamp casting soft light across her worn wooden floor. Her phone hums with notifications, each one a pulse of something new, something bigger than she'd imagined. She scrolls, her eyes lingering on a post from X that's spreading like wildfire. Amara Brooks refused to kneel for a broken vase. The Harpers' wedding fell apart. Thousands share it, their words a chorus of support, calling her a hero, a beacon. She stood for all of us, one comment reads. Amara's chest swells, a mix of disbelief and hope. She's spent 15 years invisible, her dreams of singing tucked away to survive, but now her stand has rippled beyond Charleston's oaks. Lena, the young maid, knocks softly and steps inside, her face bright with purpose. "Miss Amara," she says, her voice steady, "the community's talking. They're proud of you. Pastor Wright's planning a fundraiser at church to support you." Amara's throat tightens, her fingers tracing the edge of a chipped coffee mug. She hadn't meant to spark this, hadn't asked for their sacrifice, but their faith feels like her mother's gospel hymn come alive. "Oh, freedom over me." Outside, children's laughter drifts from the street, a stark contrast to the storm she's ignited. The post on X grows, comments flooding in. Some call Lena's revelation about the Harpers' financial secrets a motive for the strike, sparking debate. Was it justice or revenge? Amara doesn't linger on the question. She knows the truth lies in the years of slights they've all endured. Her phone buzzes again, a message from a stranger offering to help with her dream, a small event business. "You've got a voice," it reads, and Amara's mind flashes to the nights she sang under starlit skies, her dreams buried for her brother Noah's future. Now, those dreams stir, fragile but alive. Lena sits beside her, recounting how Tyson and Ruth are rallying others, their defiance a spark that's caught fire. "We're with you, Miss Amara," Lena says, her eyes fierce. "You showed us we're worth more." Amara nods, her heart full, the weight of loss lifting under the warmth of this unexpected kinship. The hymn hums louder, a promise of strength. She doesn't know what lies ahead, but this moment, these voices lifting her up, feels like a new beginning. Charleston's skyline glows beyond her window, a patchwork of lights, and Amara senses her stand has woven something greater. A community bound by courage, ready to rise together. The Harper mansion stands like a hollow shell under Charleston's fading light, its grandeur dimmed by silence. Eleanor Harper sits alone in her study, the tick of a grandfather clock, the only sound breaking her isolation. Her silk scarf slips from her shoulder as she stares at an unanswered phone, once alive with calls from Charleston's elite. Now the invitations have dried up, old allies turning away, their whispers sharp with the story of a wedding undone. The post on X has spread, branding the Harpers' cruelty, and Eleanor's empire, built on image, crumbles like sand. She'd tried to deflect, calling Amara a troublemaker, but the truth has taken root, too deep to uproot. Across the hall, Sophia sits in her childhood bedroom, her unworn wedding gown draped over a chair like a ghost. Her phone glows with the X post, its comments a relentless chorus. The Harpers thought they could break her. Her fingers hover over a message she sent to Amara. "I'm sorry, Amara. Can we talk?" No reply comes, and the silence stings, a mirror to her own regret. She'd echoed her mother's cruelty, demanding Amara kneel, but now doubt gnaws at her. Was it pride or fear of losing control? Sophia's eyes trace the gown, its lace a reminder of a day that never came. Eleanor bursts in, her voice shrill. "Stop moping, Sophia. That woman ruined us." But Sophia's voice is quiet, raw. "We ruined ourselves, Mother. Amara didn't make us act that way." Eleanor's face hardens, but her retort falters, a crack in her armor. The truth, sharp as a blade, pierces their denial. Sophia turns away, her mother's silence louder than any shout. Outside, the city hums, oblivious to the Harpers' fall. The staff's rebellion, sparked by Amara's stand, has left scars no wealth can hide. Lena's revelation about the Harpers' financial secrets fuels whispers. Some call it betrayal, others justice. But it's clear their power was fragile, built on lies and disdain. Sophia thinks of Amara, of the apology she offered, and wonders if it's enough. She sees now the weight of her actions, the cost of her mother's world. Eleanor paces, her hands trembling, grasping at a status that's slipped away. The mansion, once a fortress, feels like a cage, its walls echoing their loss. Sophia's message to Amara remains unanswered, and she knows forgiveness isn't owed, it must be earned. As the clock ticks on, the Harpers face a truth they can't escape. Their cruelty broke more than a wedding. It broke them. Amara's fire, kindled by a gospel hymn, has burned brighter than their fading light, and Charleston will remember her name long after theirs fades. Amara Brooks stands beneath a towering Charleston oak, its branches swaying in the twilight breeze, casting long shadows across her path. In her small apartment, the air is warm with laughter and the scent of cornbread, shared by Ruth, Tyson, Lena, and neighbors drawn by her story. They gather around a table, plates piled with collards and hope, their voices weaving plans for something new. Amara's eyes shine as she speaks, her voice steady but humble. "I'm calling it Unity Events," she says. "We'll do weddings, galas, anything, but on our terms, where no one's made to feel small." Ruth nods, her gray braids swaying, her scarred hands clapping. "Ain't no cornbread like mine to start it right." Tyson grins, promising to rally workers, while Lena vows to spread the word at church. A knock brings Pastor Wright, his smile broad, holding a flyer for a fundraiser to launch Amara's dream. "The choir's singing for you, Amara," he says. Her throat catches, the gospel hymn her mother loved rising in her heart. "Oh, freedom over me." She thinks of Noah, her brother, proud in Raleigh, and her own buried dream of singing, now stirring anew. The ex-post still hums on her phone, strangers' words lifting her higher. "You showed us how to stand." Across town, the Harper mansion fades into shadow, but here, Amara's world grows. She hasn't answered Sophia's apology, not yet. Forgiveness will come when it's earned, on her terms. The community's faith, their hands joined with hers, feels like a new verse in her mother's song. As stars dot the Charleston sky, Amara knows the road ahead is uncertain, but she's not alone. Her stand has woven a tapestry of courage, stronger than any paycheck she lost. She's lost a job, but found a calling, a spark that lights the way for others. And you? What will make you stand tall? Share your thoughts below. Hit that subscribe button, and let's keep this story alive. Because when one of us rises, we all do.